Do you ever feel like something's just off? No matter how busy you are, no matter how much you're doing, something isn't quite right, and that feeling, it comes from being out of rhythm. Because as human beings, we are not designed to live in this artificial world that we find ourselves in. We're designed to live in alignment with something much deeper, much more powerful, much greater than any of us. And the place where you find that alignment, I genuinely believe this, is in nature. Not in shopping centres, not in traffic, not staring at a screen, not endlessly scrolling through a load of stuff that you don't need to see, apart from me, but out there, where nature exists, where life is real. Because nature cannot and does not lie to us. It shows us the truth of existence exactly as it's meant to be seen. This time of year now, like take a leaf, yeah? So a stick, just a random stick that's been freezing all winter. And then all of a sudden, this incredible structure emerges from it, unfurls and forms a leaf, or millions of them. Or you see a flower punching up through the soil after a long, dark, wet, cold winter. Against all the odds, this beautiful flower emerges. And you realise that force, that same intelligence exists in you too. That's creation. That's the fingerprint of God. And when you're immersed by it, surrounded by it, something inside of you starts to wake up. You start to remember. You start to remember that life isn't chaos. It's cycles. Birth, growth, death, rebirth. Because everything in nature moves through that cycle effortlessly. And deep down, you will know, you will remember that you are exactly the same. But in this artificial world, this matrix that we found ourselves in, we've lost touch with that because there's people or organisations or the matrix itself trying to rush everything, trying to control everything, trying to force everything. And that's why people feel fearful, they feel anxious, they feel lost. Because they've been pulled out of the natural rhythm that they were created to live in. And here's the truth. Every great artist, every poet, every inventor, every thinker, every visionary, at some point they went back to nature. Not by accident, but because that's where clarity lives. And that's where creativity is born. Because creativity cannot come from the noise, from the chaos. It comes from stillness, from silence. And nature forces us to be still. It forces us to slow down. It strips everything back. It takes you away from the madness. It reminds you what actually matters. Think about it. When you're overwhelmed, when your head is full of noise,